Hello and welcome back to Coastal Crafts. So today I've been having a bit of a play with some of the Tonic Multimedia Dies. So this is one that I picked up in my massive haul from the craft show. So it's $7.99. And I'm sure they go for a whole variety of prices. You know, it's like you have to shop around, don't you? And yeah, I sort of got them back, and I do have some other multimedia dies that I've used, but they've been very basic. This one's a little bit more intricate, so I was kind of interested to see how many different mediums, how many different materials it would cut, and what I could make from it. So I've been having a bit of a fun this evening having a go at cutting out. So I'll just say I've been using the Gemini. So it's been the two cutting plates and the plastic shim is what you need to use when you go with it. I used to have a Big Shot and I've used them in the Big Shot. I cannot remember what the combination of plates is, but you can obviously look that up. But that's that's a start, isn't it? So first of all, I thought, you know what, I've got this grunge board that you know, the Tim Holtz grunge board that I picked up at a car boot sale this summer and I've not used. And I'm sure you can imagine there's quite a few things I've not used. Interesting stuff. It's sort of the first time I got it out to play with it, and I hadn't realised how malleable it was. So yeah, I obviously die cut that really nicely because it's not that thick. And I've used it to make a little frame here, and the image is from the Hunky Dory teal, what's it called? Called something like Teal Treasures or something that I picked up as well at the craft show. So what I really like about these is they're just perfect for framing little images, and no issues getting any of the bits out. It all just popped out really nicely. So this is actually two of them layered on top. So I cut out a back one and I cut out one as a frame, as in I cut out the whole of this one and then I cut one out with the centerpiece in. Yeah, so grunge board, and then I painted it with some of the, what's it called, Rusty Patina texture paint I picked up in one of those Crafters Companion mixed media mystery bags. So you can see it's got an interesting texture. I really like that. I've not done any more with it, but yeah, I definitely use that. So I thought, oh, and this is another one that I did in the same thing. And I was also having a go and thinking, okay, does it cut fabric? So yes, it does cut the fabric, but the reason I put this on here is that it kind of ripped a bit. This is just a cheap fabric I picked up, £1 from the works. So we're probably looking at some kind of sort of cotton polyester mix. So yes, it cut it, but it did have issues with the tiny bits. So yeah, it, you know, if it was, these dies obviously cut very easily on fabric. Anything that's like that, it's very simple and basic, but as soon as you start getting intricate bits, yeah, it kind of ripped. And I don't think that was just like a one-off thing. I think that's just the nature of the die. So, but yeah, I made this from it anyway, which is cute. It's going to be a tag that goes on something. So in terms of the sort of cotton fabricy things like that, I'm not sure whether that's something that I would use very much, but it doesn't matter because that's not necessarily the right style of dye for that. So then I tried some other mediums. This is some I don't know what you call it, sort of plastic PVC fabric backed, a bit like those tablecloths you get. That I happen to have. This one's from AliExpress actually, this mermaid fabric. Cut this, you know, absolutely no issue because it's quite a firm. It's all about the way that the threads are interwoven with each other, and as you can imagine, something that's plasticky, it's, if you know anything about sort of chains of polymers and things, they're all going to be all over the place, so less likely to fray. And then I use that's an image from some of those toppers that I picked up at the craft show, and just thought it's really pretty. So that would go on the front of a card or a pocket letter or something. So it happily cut that. Then thinking what else I had to go at cutting. I had to go at cutting some of the glitter felt that I picked up from Hobbycraft. And yeah, that's gorgeous, isn't it? Have I made any projects with one of those? I've got various bits and bobs here. I've got this one, yeah, with a smaller frame. And this is going to go on a tag for a wedding, We have got a wedding coming up very soon, so I thought that'd make a really cute little tag. And on the back is some of your typical cardboards that you get on the back of notebooks. So it cuts that really nicely as well, which leads me on to some of these. So this was cut with your typical back of the back of a notebook style cardboard, you know, your cereal box style cardboard, and then painted up just with some of that rusty patina paint and then a bit of silver paint on top. This one was just cut from the cardboard, and I thought, you know, I'll put glue on it and then I'll cover it in glitter. That didn't work, but nonetheless the cardboard part cut very nicely, no issues with that whatsoever, all on the same combination of plates. These were some of the inner pieces, so when I was cutting it out, I obviously get inner pieces, and they were nice and easy to punch through. I have one of these hole punches, and they're like £1 to buy, and definitely recommend them for making tags. It's made a really cute tag. So we've got a little fairy decoupage there, one of the things I bought from those hunky-dory bits, and I just think they're just really sweet little things to attach to cards. Then I have a couple like this. This is more using cardboard, so you can see how it's just made a really nice frame, but a really three-dimensional frame. And that's one I've got a, where is it? I'm going to put that away now. But one of those silicone molds, and that's actually made using hot glue and then painted in silver. I love these little ballerinas, and I just think that would look really nice, maybe on a little box. So I might use it to decorate a box. And then this one's also really sweet as well. I mean, that could become a tag, or it could become some kind of home decor. So some of those, you're seeing different things that I picked up at the show, some of the beads and how I use them. If I'm not, you know, could use them for what they're meant to be used for, jewellery, or we could use them in this way. That's the inner piece from this one, so you can see matches up. So that's just a layer, just use it as a layering bit, and I quite liked how that came out. And then I think this is the last thing that I tried it on like a faux leather material, which is so similar, I guess, to this one. And I do like this kind of faux leather, you know, it die cuts really nicely, especially with this kind of die. And you can pick this, like I picked this up, I can't remember if it's at the charity shop or a car boot set for like £1 or something, and you know, I had loads of it in the roll. So it's one of those things, they're really cheap to pick up, but they give it, it's just a bit of a different texture, isn't it, having a bit of sort of, I guess it's PVC type faux leather. And that is propped up on what I think was the thickest material that I tested out. And I absolutely can't remember where I got these from, I don't recall getting it, but this is, I guess, a kind of chipboard, really thick and tough, probably only 1mm though. I've got some 2mm and it ain't going to go through that, I'm not even going to try. But yeah, cut through this really nicely, no issues, and that's what's used just to give it dimension. So yeah, you could use foam, you could prop things up on foam, but sometimes I find that foam sort of moves about a bit when you're sticking it down, and whereas this gives it real rigidity, that's a good word. And you've just got these things, I mean, keep saying but I just like the solidness of these. So that's what's nice about using these multimedia dies. But I just found it fun because you can kind of cut all these different types of mediums when mixing up, from fabric to glitter felt to cardboard, you know, and paper. This is obviously just cardstock that I've stuck on top of this. It just gives you that freedom to be a little bit more interesting. And it's been fun. I've been playing with it all evening in between cooking tea and stuff like that. Yeah, so hope you like that. Let me know what you think. Have you got some of these multimedia dies? What do you think of them? What machines have you used them in? Yeah, what have you cut? Anything thicker than what I've cut? Let me know what you think, and whether you recommend any more for me to pick up. Not that I should be spending, but you know what it's like. See you very soon. Bye.